are looking at Doak Campbell Stadium, under construction, but the clock is ticking and it will be ready for a football season. Doak Campbell Stadium looking good, and Doak Campbell Stadium is the site this week for our episode of Live in Tallahassee, and man, do we got a good one for you this week. John Summers, Jerry Kutz, everybody is here because we have an update on what's going to happen with this Champions Club and the entire stadium with just about a couple months to go into football season. And Jerry, in a minute we're going to go take a tour, but I mean, are we going to make it?
Absolutely, we have no choice.
I love it. It looks like construction is going well.
It is really well. We're so proud of Childers Construction and Brad Ennis and his team at EMI. That they're local architects and contractors. They've done a phenomenal job.
John, what do you got?
Well, Jerry, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you know, this is the first time I've been in here and actually seen this. It's an unbelievable experience. The fans that are considering becoming members of the Champions Club, is there a way that I mean, obviously you can't bring everybody in here to see this before the season begins, but are there pictures? Someone told me there's a time lapse of this going on.
Yeah. We have a website called fsuclubseats.com, and there's a webcam live on there. So people they sit down there at work and they watch it. But there's a lot of photographs on there. It's a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what, John, anybody who calls me at 508-8690,
yes, you will.
I'll take them on the same dang tour.
There you go. Well, now if that's not watch out, 20,000 people just saw that.
Well, if you don't look online at the time lapse and you can't find time to get over for a tour, that's why we're here, folks. Live in Tallahassee. Let's go to our sneak peek of the Champions Club. All right, stadium is looking absolutely amazing. Now on the indoor part of the Champions Club at the sports bar. Jerry, let's start here, and this is all new space and all reinvented.
All new space, all reinvented. It was dead space before. This was an upper concourse that had no bathrooms, no food, anything, and it got re-envisioned by some smart architects.
Is that right? If you can imagine the highest seats in the end zone, way at the top, this is where we are, but now it's all inside, and inside there's going to be a lot to do. You know, now the camera's going to move around while you're talking, but
okay.
We've got our mobile camera that can see all these things and keep going. So let's start down here and see what...
Well, if you look all the way to the far end, this is a 40,000 square foot space. And the far end we envision like a country club ballroom. A multi-purpose space where we will have weddings throughout the year, business meetings, conferences. This space will be rented a lot, so it's going to be more of a multi-purpose space. Sure. As you move across from the far end, across through this will be a hallway that comes through here. And where the camera is right now will be settings of furniture, couches, lounge chairs, where people can visit even during the game. A nice air-conditioned place to visit.
And now with a great view. With the best view maybe anywhere.
A great view. You know, as a conference center was the big thing, Joel. When we built this place, one of the design elements was most stadiums only used their facility on game day. And we kind of broke the mold here. This facility will be used 365. It's a place, you know, for 18 years at the Indoor Center Club. We've been running about 1,200 events a year in there.
Sure.
And now we just put that really on steroids. It's a greatly expanded capacity.
So people who have enjoyed renting out the space before, now there's even more space, and even with the great view, which you didn't used to have it in the third floor, but now you can do that on way up here at the top.
Well, this is the sports bar. The sports bar's it's over 17,000 square feet. Huge bar. That on game day is going to be the epicenter. This is where the fun people are going to be. Joel, you and me and our wives will be over here.
I like the sound of that.
And then this is going to be a lot of fun over here. There's 170 high-definition television screens within the complex. Many of them are right in here. If you look out, if I could direct the camera, if we look out the windows to the upper deck, you see the upper deck. And there'll be paddle fans hanging off of there. You can see the wiring in there right now for them. But there'll be 2 TV sets mounted there. So as we're standing at the glass watching the game, Florida State beating Clemson, we can also enjoy Georgia beating Florida right there in front of us. So it's a lot of fun. And then on this, where you're looking right now is a patio. I think this is going to be fun for people. While this space is air conditioned, on a great, nice night, you can slip out onto patios on either side. And if you choose to walk up the staircases to the covered rooftop terrace, you can, or you can take the elevators. But what we wanted, Joel, we wanted you to be able to move anywhere in the club you wanted to at your leisure.
All the floors, everywhere, it's all open throughout the entire weekend. You get to move around and see everything.
Yeah, and unlike other stadium clubs, that I don't know of another one that does what we're going to do, our seat buyers, when they buy a Champions Club season ticket, they have access to this club from Friday night till Sunday.
I've heard that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we're going to activate this bar every Friday night and that terrace.
You mentioned wives, families, kids. I would have to think that if you want to have your family or your wife or whatever in here, if you don't like the outdoor elements, this is the ideal place to watch a game.
Well, you know, the beauty of it is you have the roar of the crowd sitting in your seats, controlled environment compared to, you know, some other seats in the stadium.
Right.
But if the climate is such that maybe it's hot, you're uncomfortable, or maybe it's cold, you can come into the club, get a little break, still see the game, and then return to your seat. So we tried to make it so that you still had the roar of the crowd with the comfort of the club experience.
Well, that's a look at the inside. Let's see what John Summers is doing up on the top deck.
All right, Jerry, we're actually up here on top at the Champions Club, and I guess the area we're standing on now is all brand new, but this was originally the patio coming off the 6th floor at the UCC.
Right.
So have you taken out how much extra space has been added?
We extended it 24 feet towards the field. So we actually moved the whole south end zone 24 feet closer to the action on the field.
It feels like you're in a bird's nest. You're much better view of the field.
I like to use the word nest, John, because if you think of a bull, if you think of a bull, it's like a bird's nest.
Yeah, that's true.
And so what we've done is we've closed in the south end zone with this roof system, and we're closing in the north end zone with the giant scoreboard. So the nest of our stadium is going to feel more intimate.
Right. And then a portion of the seats down here are covered, and then the portion in the middle is open.
Right, exactly.
And are all these assigned seats to members?
Yes. So what happens is when a person buys a Champions Club seat as a season ticket or even as a 3-game pack, they get to select their seat, which is a tremendous advantage to first-year buyers. Right. And they get to keep those as long as they renew them. Right.
Oh, so it can the lifetime as long as you renew? Right.
I got your seat.
Great. And you're close to sold out, right?
Well, no. Our goal is, I'll lose the job if we sold out.
They don't need Jerry anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, our goal was to get to 50% of the club sold out. And we have a whole lot of other people that want to see it, test drive it, and move forward. Right. I talk to a lot of clubs around the country, and that's how it goes. You'll sell about 50% the first year as season tickets, and then the next year you'll get up to about 80, 85, and then you'll sell out. So we're tracking on that.
On with the tour.
All right.
So Jerry, explain the terrace level to us and what you're doing for the fan experience up here.
The terrace level will include everything that you find, all the amenities you find on the club level. So we have the big bathrooms, we have the big bar, we have these beautiful kitchen pavilions where people can get their food. We'll have high top tables out here where they can enjoy their food either on the tables, on the terrace, or at their seat. If you notice, there's a great breeze up here.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, it's July and it's cool.
Yeah.
Both the roof and the breeze are, I think, the biggest amenity, and the reason my wife and I chose our seats up here. We like that, okay? Up here on this truss that comes across, on this side of the truss, we'll have 3 large screen high definition televisions, outdoor quality, on each of these bays.
Instant replay.
Instant replay. That game you can't miss, you know, Georgia beating Florida.
Oh, that'll be put okay.
You can watch it.
Right.
And on the other side of that truss will be a ribbon board, so that for the fans in the crowd, they'll be able to watch, you know, action on those ribbon boards going all the way around the stadium. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of food, we love the food in the concourse. We know last year you had a Sonny's barbecue. That was great. We love Sonny's. But I would guess that the food up here there'll be a variety and maybe even some more upscale selections.
Yes. Yeah, Club Core will provide the food for us, and it'll be a club level experience for food and concessions. We still want to be able to supply a ballpark dog.
Sure.
And
a bag of peanuts.
A bag of peanuts, but we also want to provide some premium food experience. So the chef has a whole menu plan. I'll show you on the other side. We're putting in a 500-pound smoker, so all during the week we'll be smoking butts, and we'll have all different kinds of pulled pork sandwiches.
Whoa.
And all that. Yeah, should be really pretty cool.
Very good.
But for every diet need, you know, we'll have some salad items and some for the men. You know that the meatitarians will have plenty for us.
Yeah, good. Sushi?
Sushi.
Yeah. All right.
So this here is Osceola Grill, and so that they could stay open during the construction process, we put a temporary wall.
Okay.
Yeah, that wall will come down next week or two.
And then what will that space turn into?
It'll turn into it'll still be the Osceola Grill. On game day. On all throughout the year, members will use it, but we'll also offer now patio dining under these roofs. And so, on game day, the Osceola Grill is part of the Champions Club experience. So for those of us who bought seats on this upper terrace, we have the terrace experience outside and still have access to air conditioning there. Down below, there's a receiving courtyard. And that was the thing with two entrances into the club. I felt like we had to have a central receiving courtyard, one place of arrival. So the gates, Brad Ennis designed, and they're reflective of Westcott.
Main gates here at the end of college.
Yeah. And on either side, you'll see palm trees in those beds. That'll all be a brick courtyard. So on game day, we'll check your bag and enter, you know, your scan through those gates. You'll come into the courtyard and you've arrived at that point.
That's the construction. Now, live in Tallahassee, we're going to be here about every couple of weeks. Jerry has agreed to let us in, pull back the curtain, and see, as we count down to football season, how exciting it is, because this is really an entire stadium under construction, but it looks great.
I wanted to ask you. I mean, it's beautiful, unbelievable for the VIPs, of course, and things. But for our valuable season ticket holders, what do we have in store for them?
I'm glad you asked that question. There's a lot. Right behind the camera, if you would pan and look, there's a phenomenal scoreboard going in there. It's one of the largest 5 in the country. A high definition screen. It's more than 2.5 times larger than our other scoreboard. A new sound system that gives Doak a very clear voice. But in addition to that, as you look around at all these bleachers, we've done almost $30 million worth of repairs and painting of Doak Campbell Stadium, which is nearing completion. Every bathroom every bathroom has been painted, maintenance done to it. I'm not talking about a renovation like, you know, your wife might want.
Right.
But it's we've made drastic improvements to the bathroom.
So when the fans come this fall, they're going to see a vastly improved game day experience.
Yeah, they'll see a big difference.
Yeah, and
I think the scoreboards and the ribbon boards is what everybody
and the
will
sound
notice.
system. Yeah,
the sound system.
Right.
But you know, the painted seating decks and the bathrooms are to be a pleasant upgrade.
Well, we can't thank you enough for the opportunity to come behind the scenes here and see all of this. I know our viewers appreciate it. And I guess
Definitely.
we'll be back
And
in
I
a
gotta-
couple weeks.
Well, because I have to ask, because this is really all about a game experience, because there is nothing, and I've talked to our great athletic director here, there's nothing like coming to the game, actually,
Right.
and being at there. You don't get that many home games in a year,
Yeah.
so you only have a limited option, but if you want to get the experience of FSU football, this is how you do it, and now it's even better.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And I think some people say, well, you know, you guys are competing against HD TV.
Yeah.
You know? I don't believe that.
No.
Because there's nothing like the game day experience. You know, I mean, sitting in your living room, are you going to run into an old college friend?
Exactly.
You know, are you going to see some of our beautiful
right.
co-eds?
Right.
Not in my house, you won't.
Are
but-
you going to have the marching chiefs? Are you going to have the Golden Girls?
Yeah.
Are you going to have Chief Osceola? You know?
None of it. None of it.
None of it.
Yeah.
But at any rate, it's important that we address the game day experience. And that's from Friday, you know, the block parties FSU does, the game day tailgating, all the way to Sunday. I mean, we just have to make it a great experience because a very high percentage of our fans, almost 70% of them, come from far outside Tallahassee to get to the games.
We love it. We love it. That's amazing. And remember, we're going to be back in a couple weeks, and the more paint will be up, more of the stuff will be happening, so stay with us. Jerry, John will all be here. But for now, commercial break, live in Tallahassee, back right after this message.